everyone! Today I'm going to be doing a massive book haul. Apparently the last book haul that I did was 5 months ago. I swear I've done one since then, but I can't find it anywhere on my channel. So some of these books I honestly couldn't remember since it's been so long exactly what books I've hauled already and what I haven't. So some of these books you may have seen before, some might be missing, and I'll haul them later. But yeah, I've got a lot of books to go through, so let's just jump right into it. Starting out with the books that were sent to me from publishers, the first one I have is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. This is the first book in a fantastical fairy tale epic adventure series or trilogy, who really knows. This was so kindly sent to me from Penguin Random House. I had not heard about this until it arrived in the mail unexpectedly. I had no idea that it was coming, so thank you so much to them for sending it to me. But since getting it, I've heard a lot of other people talk about it on BookTube, and people seem to really enjoy it. It is set in a fantastical world that's based off of ancient China, which sounds super cool, but it's been compared to Mulan, so I'm already interested. Penguin Random House was also kind enough to send me Superman Dawnbreaker by Matt De La Pena. This is either the 4th or 5th book in the DC Icons series, which is a series of companion novels that followed the different DC superheroes. The only other one that I've read was Batman, which I really enjoyed, so I'm pretty excited to pick this up at some point. It's also the collector's edition, so it came with a built-in poster inside as well. And then this next book was sent to me by Wonderkind PR, and it is The Vine Witch by Luann G. Smith, I think is how you pronounce the name. This is an ARC copy, so this book will be officially published on October 1st, and this sounds super cool. Again, I wasn't expecting any of these in the mail, and I hadn't heard about this one before getting it. Y'all know I'm not very good with explaining synopsis, so I'm going to try my best with this one, but I believe this is set on a vineyard that was kind of dependent on the role of these vine witches that use their spells to create this well-known wine. So in this book we follow a witch called Elena or Elena, I'm not really sure how to say her name, but she is blindsided by a curse that weakens her magic, and she's trying to get her life back to where it was, but now this vineyard that she was supposed to inherit belongs to this handsome stranger, and yeah, you can probably tell a bit where the story is going. I sense a bit of romance, a bit of magic. I'm very excited to read this. It also has a really beautiful cover. This is an ARC copy, so I know that the cover could change, but I really hope that it stays like this. So those were all of the books that were sent to me from publishers. Now moving on to all of the books that I acquired, mostly from my library book sale. I actually scored 3 box sets for $1 each, which is super cool. The first one I found is the Mistborn Trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. So this includes Mistborn, The Well of Ascension, and The Hero of Ages. I'll be honest, I don't know what any of these books are about. I think it's adult fantasy. It could be YA though, like I said. I don't really know, but a lot of people rave about this book. People just rave about Brandon Sanderson in general, so when I saw this I figured may as well pick it up and see what it's all about. And then the other 2 box sets I got are actually of the exact same series, and that is the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. So I own just one big thick book of all of the books, but I don't own any of them individually. So I saw these. They are different. I'm a book collector, so I collect several different editions of the same book, but these ones, yeah, they were just too pretty. I can't even talk. But these ones were just too pretty to pass up on, and yeah, I think they were only $1 each, or they were both $1.50, so how can you not buy them? I'm really apprehensive to take the books out, because we all know once you take out a box set you're never getting it back in. But the covers are just so pretty that I want to be able to show them to you. So we have The Magician's Nephew, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, The Horse and His Boy, Prince Caspian, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, and The Last Battle. And then the second edition, which in my opinion is even prettier, we have The Magician's Nephew, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, The Horse and His Boy, Prince Caspian, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, and The Last Battle. They're all iridescent-ish. They're just so pretty. So I'm just gonna have to figure out how to shove all of those back into their boxes later. But moving on to the next book, we have An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. This is definitely a book series that I am late to the game on. I don't even know how long ago the series came out. I think it's finished at this point. I also think it was a trilogy. It's fantasy of some sort. I really can't remember at this point. But everyone really loved it when it first came out, and I always wanted to read it, but it was just one of those things that I never actually got around to. So when I saw it at my library, I figured now is my chance to finally read this book. Actually, now it's just gonna probably sit on my shelf for another 5 years and never get read. And we have kind of the same situation with this book. This is Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. I think this is the first book in a duology. Again, I couldn't tell you what it's about. I want to say it has something to do with time travel of some sort, but I really don't know. I also found Dracula by Bram Stoker for only $1. I don't have this edition, and I love pretty much all editions of Dracula. They all have this kind of gothic look to them, which is my favorite, so I had to pick this up. I also found Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I really love this movie, even though some people think it's really cheesy. I adore this film, and I tried reading the book right after I saw the movie, but the writing is just too dense for me. I did end up reading just regular Pride and Prejudice for school a little bit after that, but I really want to read this book because I do really love the movie, but yeah, let's see if I can get through the writing again. I also picked up Graceling by Kristin Cashore. This is another YA fantasy series that I just never got around to reading when it was really popular, but people still rave about this book. Like, it's definitely one that has like stood the test of time, I guess. No clue what it's about though. Can you sense a pattern emerging? I then picked up The Lost by Natasha Preston. This is an author. She's got like many thriller books, I guess is what you would call them, and I feel like they're kind of known for being like maybe really entertaining but also like really bad, so I kind of was interested in giving it a go and just seeing what her writing is all about. Once again, I don't know what this book is about, but I'm going to find out very soon, and I might vlog the experience because I feel like it might be a good time. Next book we have is Serious Moonlight by Jen Bennett. I actually picked this up new at Barnes & Noble. It's very rare that I buy books at Barnes & Noble, but I do have a couple in here from over the past few months. I read Alex approximately by the same author last year, I think, and I actually really liked it, which is kind of surprising because contemporary romances are very hit or miss for me, so I decided to pick up another book by this author. I think this is her latest one, and I don't know what it's about at all, but I've heard good things about it, and like I said, I liked her other work, so I'm excited to give it a read. I also have Finale by Stephanie Garber. This is the third and final book in the Caraval trilogy. I actually got this for the exclusive Owl Crate box that they did for Caraval, which was all the way back in I think May, and I still haven't read this book yet. That's like how bad my reading has been lately. But I gotta get around to reading this book soon because it's killing me to know the ending. Next we have The Fillin Boyfriend by Casey West. This is my favorite Casey West novel. You guys know I'm a really big fan of all of her books, and I've read all of them, and this one is my favorite. I should probably give it a reread soon, but I'm also kind of afraid because what if it doesn't live up to my hype? I've talked about this book a lot on my channel, especially when I first read it, but it is like a fake boyfriend trope, but then, you know, it turns into a real boyfriend, and it's just really cute. I then have The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This is a classic that I read and I didn't really like, but when I saw it at my library book sale for like $1 or $2, I figured I may as well just have it in my collection. Like, classics is one of the ones where even if I don't like it, I still keep it just because it's a classic, you know? I also picked up A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This is the only Patrick Ness book that I've read, I think, and I liked it. Like, it was okay, but it definitely didn't affect me the same way it affected a lot of other people. That being said, I still wanted an edition for my collection because I really like the illustrations, and I also just, it is a touching story, so it's one that I would like to have to like give to my children in the future. Then we have From Agrabah by Aisha Saeed. Probably didn't pronounce that right, for which I'm very sorry, but this is a book that kind of went along with the new Aladdin movie, and I picked this up and read it right after seeing the movie, and I really liked it. It was like, it was okay, you know, it's kind of cheesy, but it was also entertaining. In this book we follow Aladdin and Jasmine when they're on their magic carpet ride, and Jasmine asks Aladdin to take her to Ababwa, which is the fictional place that he is the prince of, and yeah, it's fictional, so he kind of runs into a pickle there. But Genie is able to create this magical land of Ababwa that will exist for as long as Aladdin and Jasmine are there. But of course chaos ensues, and yeah, it was fun. It wasn't the best. I would still recommend it if you like Disney things. I then picked up for 50 cents The Tales of Beedle the Bard by J.K. Rowling. This is one of the, like, I don't even know what you would call it, short stories that went along with Harry Potter. I've never read any of the other ones, like Quidditch Through the Ages, or there was one other one, I honestly can't remember, but I've never read any of them, so when I saw this there, I figured I'd pick it up and see what it's all about, basically. And it's really short, so I'm kind of saving it for a readathon to come along. Next up, no pun intended, we have Next by Michael Crichton. This is a sci-fi book, I believe. Honestly don't know, didn't even read the synopsis, but I read Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton quite a while ago, and I absolutely loved it. Then I read The Lost World, absolutely hated it. So this is going to be like my do I like Michael Crichton's writing or not determination book. I can already tell that this is going to be a book that probably has a lot of science and stuff that's going to go over my head, which happened in Jurassic Park, but at least I understood the gist of it from the movie, so let's hope I understand what the heck is going on in this book. I then picked up Desperation by Stephen King. This was only $1 at my library book sale, and Stephen King does show up at the library book sale a lot, but I've never picked up any of his works from there because they've never been any of his more known works. Like, they've been things I've never heard of before. But this one I had heard of before, and also the cover is just really intriguing, like whatever that is going on right there. So I'm excited to pick this up. It has a lot of pages, that's for sure. I also like the back. There's just like a little window with some kind of creature in it. Once again, I don't know what it's about, but I read Carrie recently and I really liked it, so I'm looking forward to reading more of his works. I also picked up Again But Better by Christine Riccio. This is her debut novel. I already read this book and I've talked about it quite a bit on my channel, so I'm not going to go into it here, but I really liked it. It's a contemporary romance with, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but like a hint of magic in it, which I actually really liked and was totally not expecting because I didn't really read the synopsis well. I also picked up Maybe This Time by Casey West. I probably should have talked about this when I talked about the other Casey West book. So this is her most recent release. I've already read it, I already loved it, I already talked about it a lot on my channel, so I'm not going to talk about it again here, but I would totally recommend it along with all of her other books. I also picked up The Death of Mrs Westaway by Ruth Ware. This is another book that I've talked a lot about on my channel because I really enjoyed it. It's an adult thriller, and I actually have an ARC copy of this book that I accidentally bought at my library book sale, having no idea that it was an ARC, and it sat on my shelf for like 4 months, having no idea that it wasn't just a paperback copy, and then when I read it, I realized it was an ARC. So I picked up this finished copy in hardcover, and this book is just so pretty, and the actual book, because that's what matters, what's on the inside that counts, is also really amazing, so I would totally recommend this. This book is one of the ones that I can't remember if I hauled or not, or if it was one that I just happened to mention in like a TBR or something, but it is My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. This is a contemporary romance book that I've heard pretty good things about. I kind of was interested in reading it at a time, and then I kind of wasn't, and then I saw it at my library book sale and I thought I'd pick it up. As per usual, I don't really know what it's about, but I'm gonna say it's gonna be like a boy next door kind of story. Next we have The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. This is a fantasy book. I think it's based off of like Russian folklore of some kind. Could be mistaken though. Very likely, in fact, that I am mistaken, but I also think this is adult, possibly. I'm very unsure about this book, if you couldn't tell, but a lot of people rave about this book. Clearly I don't ever really take in what they're saying about the book, but I know that they like it, so I bought it. This next book is very different from anything I've hauled on my channel before, and it is Puzzles in Wonderland. So this is basically a collection of puzzles, like riddles and things, based off of Alice in Wonderland. I haven't really had the time to look through this book too much, but I will just like give you an example with the first riddle that they have. So it says, "Are you twins?" asked Alice. "No how," said Dee, "but we do share the same parents," said Dum, "and we were born on the same day of the year, but we certainly are not twins. How can this be?" So I'll let y'all figure that one out. Let me know in the comments if you solve it. Next we have The Lying Game by Ruth Ware, which again, I should have talked about this when I was talking about the other book, The Death of Mrs Westaway. This is written by the same author. This is another adult thriller, which I don't know the synopsis of because I like to go into my thrillers blind, but I'm really looking forward to reading it after loving The Death of Mrs Westaway, so hopefully I'll get to this one very soon. I also picked up Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is a YA thriller mystery, I think. I want to say this is set at like a boarding school kind of thing, and we follow these group of children that are trying to solve a murder that happened at this school in the past, possibly. I'm kind of making this up on the spot, but hopefully it has some kind of truth to it. Either way, a lot of people have loved this series. I've wanted to read it because I love thrillers and mysteries, and I also really love this cover. Second to last book that I have to haul is Illuminate by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the first book in the Illuminate Files trilogy. I'm actually currently reading Obsidio, so I haven't quite finished it yet. No spoilers, please. But yeah, I read this book and I really loved it. I think it's probably my favorite book that I've read so far this year. It's just like nothing I've ever read before. Like, I've never read a book formatted in the way that it is. And I just absolutely love the characters, and the plot is so intriguing. Would totally recommend this book. It's sci-fi, in case you didn't know wouldn't even know where to begin to explain the actual plot of this book to you. Final book that I have to show you, again, I should have probably talked about it when I talked about the other two Ruth Ware books, and that is The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. This is her most recent release, and I got it as an early birthday present from my mom, so thank you so much to her. While I do like to go into my thrillers blind, I do actually know a little bit of the synopsis of this book for anyone who's curious to know. So in this book we follow a woman who becomes a live-in nanny for this like very glamorous family, and I think the story is kind of told of her like recounting the story to a police detective because she is a suspect for the murder of the child she was nannying for, I think, something like that. Either way, it sounds super interesting. Again, I'm really interested in reading it after reading The Death of Mrs Westaway. I also read The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware, and I liked that one as well, so I've had very good luck with this author. Weird thing about this book, though, is that there is this page where it was just cut completely incorrectly, and it just goes so much longer than the rest of the book. It's really strange, but it makes it unique to my collection, unless the printing press fudged up all of the books and everyone has it like that. But I'd like to think mine is a little bit special. So yeah, those are all of the books that I have accumulated over the past 5 months. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Let me know which ones I should get to first. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!
You hear that, Samson?